All right. So, Asa, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about PDA. Well, not necessarily PDA, public displays of affection, but why do American people hug so much? And I have like a story that really...
Hey there, アーサーです。英語をたくさん勉強したり、ネイティブ英会話でネイティブの先生との会話を練習したりしてても、いざレッスンを離れて外国人の対面すると、なんか雰囲気が全然違って言葉が出てこないってことありますよね。僕も日本に来た時、まさに同じことがありました。だからですね、少しでも実際の会話に慣れられるように、僕とアメリカ人の友達のオースティンで、なんでアメリカ人ってそんなにハグするのっていうテーマで気軽に話してみました。今回は 100% 英語でフィルターなしのリアルな会話になるので、ちょっとハードルが高いかなと思って、日本語と英語の字幕両方つけています。これまさに僕が日本語を勉強していた時にこういうの欲しかったって思う教材ですね。I hope this video will help you get used to real English. もし印象に残った表現とかあったらぜひコメント欄でシェアしてくださいね。あとレッスンの英会話にちょっと飽きてきて実際に外国人ともっと気軽に話せるようになりたいなと思っている方に向けた案内も最後に少しシェアするのでぜひ最後まで見てください。それでは Let's get started.
I think like makes it clear like this kind of tension that I have. So when I was in high school, I had a Japanese tutor named Kie from Osaka.
Yeah.
She doesn't live in Osaka anymore, so no one's going to find her.
Okay.
But I remember when I met her at the airport in Japan.
Yeah.
I went to go hug her. And she kind of avoided me. Like, I remember saying, like, hey, Kie, I opened up my arms to her. And she's just like, ah. And she kind of like moved out of the way and shook my hand or whatever, you know? And I thought that was really weird. But then, when she came to America, she came back to Logan National Airport in Boston.
Yeah.
And she saw me. She was like, hey! And I was just like, I'm confused because before you just wanted to shake my hand. So here's my hand. She's like, hey! Tap you on the shoulder, you know? So like what I realized was that like in Japan, it was kind of inappropriate to hug someone, but in America, it totally is.
Dude, okay. You know, you said this was going to be a 5-minute thing. I think we're going to talk more about this. Because it's funny. I usually take like a very American perspective, but I actually am firmly on Japan's side on this. I hate hugging.
You hate hugging?
Except when it comes to my wife.
Okay. You don't like hugging your family?
I'm very affectionate with my wife, but it's usually like in closed doors, you know, like well, I'm not trying to make it weird, but like, I hug my wife a lot, right?
Yeah.
And I hug my kids. I don't like,
you don't hug your mom?
I do, but I don't like hugging people.
Okay.
It's weird. I don't like hugging my family, and it's not that I don't like them. It's just I don't like touching people.
Yeah.
And I remember going up and, I'm like a really social person and, experiencing high school. I had a bunch of friends and I hated when people were just like, hey, Austin, give me a hug. I'm leaving. And it's like, no, you just stay over there.
Okay.
Like, I don't want to touch you. So I can't stand that. It drives me insane.
See, it's funny because I feel like in the States, right?
Yeah.
There are kind of like levels to the warmth that people have. So some people are huggers.
Yeah.
Some people are not huggers. And I'm not a hugger.
Yeah.
But I'm fine with hugging my family.
Sure.
And that's great.
Sure.
But then I feel like when I go to the States, there's like this, it's almost like there's this awkward thing of like, do I hug?
Dude,
do I not?
Oh my God. It's so weird. And you know what? I feel like Europe takes this to another level because they do the
kissing on the cheeks.
Dude, I'm not doing that. I don't give a fuck. Dude. Like I'm staying in my lane as an American.
I want to know where that came from. That's so weird.
It's weird French and Italian people doing weird things,
here's the thing,
man.
You're not even kissing them. You're kissing the air next to their cheek. What is that?
But going back to it, yeah, I totally agree. I feel like there's a lot of people who just like don't view hugging as a weird thing and it's like just a normal greeting. Like I'll give you This is gonna come out really bad, and you know what? Maybe it is bad. But I remember back in high school, we had a teacher, and he was a hugger. And
He hugged his students?
all the time. Dude.
That's appropriate? That's accepted?
I don't feel like it was. It was really weird and awkward, and like the student, like no one expressed discomfort when because he was a well-liked teacher.
Yeah.
But it was just weird that he was hugging students. As a teacher, that is absolutely, unquestionably off limits.
Yeah.
I would never. I don't care if, like, I've had students in my 10 years as a teacher. I'm coming up on 10 years.
Okay.
In my 10 years as a teacher here in Japan, I've had students that I felt physically close is not the appropriate thing to say. I've felt personally close to them.
Yeah.
In a way like, oh, you know what? I'm invested in your future.
Yeah.
And I would like to know you as a person to person.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not saying like I message them, but like hey, just keep in touch. You know, I just want to know where your life goes.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of thing, right? And not even on the day that they graduated, and I knew that I probably wasn't going to see them for at least a few years.
Yeah.
Not even on that day, it even came into my mind that I want to hug them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So like,
So it's just, I don't know,
feel like
man.
so I never got hugged by any of my teachers because I feel like that's kind of that's crossing a line. But like, have you ever seen people like friends hug each other in Japan?
Okay. So in Japan, actually, yes.
You have?
I will say, I think younger generation in their 20s now, are very heavily American influenced.
Okay.
Especially men.
Yeah.
I've really found like young Japanese men, I'm talking like 25 and under.
Yeah.
Are very expressive.
Yeah.
They're very different than older generations. It's really crazy.
Yeah.
So I have witnessed that.
Yeah.
And I see it all the time in school right now with like high school boys.
Yeah.
They're very touchy.
Really?
They're very touchy.
You know, that's really interesting.
Yeah.
I remember when I saw two Japanese girls like greet each other for the first time in a while, and they were really good friends.
Yeah.
And I just remember it was so awkward because I'm sure you've seen this before. Let me put the bottle out of the way because we might not get over. But they don't high five.
They're like,
they put the hands out like let's touch our palms together. Let's touch our palms together.
My God.
It's not a hug. It's not a shaking hands. It's just let's barely touch our palms together.
Dude, I'll tell you what it reminds me of.
Yeah.
Because I literally know exactly what you're talking about. It reminds me of like a small dog.
Yeah.
When you come home at the end of the day and the dog's really excited at the door.
Yeah.
Like it's like a chihuahua being like really
and they're like jumping up
at
the wall. That kind of and they're not jumping at the wall. They're like jumping. They're like slightly caressing the wall. I remember though, because it's like I remember when a girl first did like hi, like we're both waving hands, hi, and I'm like, dude, wave your hands, shake your hands, or hug. Why do you have to have this kind of? What is this? What is this, like the tambourine? It's just.
No, I get it.
Yeah,
I get it.
But that really shows me just like how like separate physical touch is from here, because even that is like.
Yeah,
like the barrier.
You know, I do feel like a lot of girls and women here are a lot more willing to cross that boundary. Like I'll say something that I commonly see here in Japan: girls holding hands.
Yeah,
you see it a lot here in Japan.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm not just talking about like girls. I'm talking about like women. Yeah, like, young women, they'll do that if they're with their friend. They'll, if they're shopping together, they'll go hold their hands.
Yeah,
like you see it a lot.
Yeah,
right. You don't see that with men at all. And to be fair, you don't really see that with Western. Like, I'm not going to hold your hand if we go somewhere.
But even in I feel like in the States, even you don't see like girlfriends hold their hands.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't see that so much.
But I mean, like.
But hugging is okay. Like.
Hugging is a weird thing, man. Because, like, like looking back at it in my life of like, times that I've encountered hugging, it's like, I feel like there's just no boundary with it. Like back in the US, like people would hug in like, there's so many situations. There's, obviously friends, like I personally don't prefer it, but if I got a friend who's like going on vacation, it's like, all right, stay safe, like that kind of thing, right? And you do like the guy hug where it's like one arm hug. But I mean, there's so much hugging. Like I'll give you another example. Like dating.
Okay.
Dating, like after first date, probably you don't see hugging, but like second or third date, it's like you finish the date for the night. And it's like, all right, well, that kind of thing. And even that situation's like, as personally for me, I don't like that.
Well,
but you see it a lot.
Well, it's funny is you talk about like guys hugging and stuff, and it's funny because I feel like in America we want to express affection to other guys, but we don't want to be seen as gay, so it has to be done differently. So like when you hug a girl, you hug a girl like this, you just hug a girl. But when it's a guy, you like do the hand clap, you like that, and then you hug.
There's the guy hug.
But there's the arms in the front that's keeping a barrier between you guys as you go like boom, boom, like that. So it's not fully a hug. I remember though, because I had a friend who was actually, he's not gay, but he was in theater, and he and I were really good friends. I remember the first time he like went to give me a hug, and it wasn't one of those like guy hugs where you have the arm in between. It was just a full on hug. And like, it was kind of strange for me because I was like, should I smooch you or something or?
Oh man, that just sounds so.
I know it's weird because like
I don't want to experience that.
Well, because I feel like in the States, people have this image that Americans are so huggy, and I would say my family hugs a lot. Like my family is very affectionate. Most families I've seen in Japan are not huggy like that.
No,
but
definitely not. I mean, like I said, I don't like hugging. I hug my wife a lot. I hug my kids a lot. I hug my family. I'm not overly fond of it, but I mean, I do. Like, and I think for me, there's a time and a place for hugs. And for me, it's like that. It kind of feels like the same thing. I'll tell you. We don't have to go too into this, but for me, I always feel weird saying sayonara to people.
Sayonara. Yeah, me too.
Like, and I say it every day. Like, like if I'm going and picking up my daughter at hoikun or like daycare.
Yeah, they say sayonara, right?
Yeah, and it's like you see other parents and you greet them in the morning like, oh, hayo. Like, and then, you're leaving, either to go to work or you're leaving for the day with your kid. And, everyone says sayonara to each other, right? But for me, that always feels weird.
Yeah,
it's like I'd be more comfortable saying, John, like that kind of thing, right?
It's funny because I see that too. When I pick up my son from daycare, and the hoikushi-san, she always says sayonara, and I always feel weird because I think in my mind I translate that as goodbye, and goodbye in English is very final.
Yes.
Yeah. Goodbye.
Yeah. Or if it's not final to the point where I'm never going to see you again, there's some understanding that we're not going to see each other tomorrow. There's going to be some period of time before we see each other again, right? Yeah. And so, like, for me, sayonara feels like a hug because I would give somebody a hug in the same situation where I feel like I want to say sayonara.
Really?
That's how I feel.
So, yeah, it's funny because I would give someone like a deep hug, like a strong hug, if I wasn't going to see them for a while. But with my buddies, like I give them hugs. Hey, man, it's good to see you. See you next time. You know? I don't know why. I'm not necessarily a hugger, but with my friends, like so the thing that bothers me is when someone who doesn't know me very well, but is like the performative, hey, I'm a nice guy that gets along with everyone. Here, let's have a hug. Good to see you, man. Like, you know those people, right?
Oh my god.
Like there's this one guy. It's funny. So in the town I grew up in, there's this guy called Jim Trick. His last name is Trick of all things, and he's a life coach. But
wow,
I know, right?
Some things just fall into place.
I know, right? It's like my driving instructor. His name was Mr. Carr.
No,
with 2 R's. Yeah, his name Mr. Carr taught me how to drive. I'm not joking about that.
I feel okay. I want to go off on a small tangent. I feel like if you have meme names like that, you kind of should get paid a little bit extra at your job. It's like, oh, dude, your name is Carr and you want to be a driving instructor?
Yeah.
That's just too hilarious. You need to keep doing this. So, like, here's an extra $200 a month just to make sure you just keep being a driving instructor.
I would seriously start, like, Mr. Carr's driving school. That would sell like hotcakes, you know? Yeah. But he, right? So I talked to him maybe twice in my life.
Yeah.
And even on the first time, he's like, good to see you, Arthur. Good to see you. And it was just like, I feel uncomfortable. But if it's my friends, I'm totally fine with hugging.
See, I'm even more far removed for that. Because like, I'll tell you, like, when I go back home and, I'm sorry if my family members end up watching this.
Sorry.
This is on your main channel though, right?
Yeah, it's on my main channel.
Anyways, but like, I go back home and, maybe I haven't seen my mom and dad for, a year or two, right? I'll hug them. And, I go and visit, like, let's say I'm going to go visit my sister Chelsea, right? And I'm going to see my parents again before I go back to Japan, but I'm going to go stay at my sister's house for some amount of time, like a few days or whatever. My parents, like wanting to hug my parents, that feels weird. I don't want to do that. I'll just be like, I'll see you guys in a few days. Like that kind of, I don't want to hug them.
It's weird because like my dad's here right now and like when we part ways, I'm going to see him later tonight and I hugged him goodbye, It's weird. So okay, so let's kind of shift this a little bit then. So how do you feel about like the lack of physical touch in Japan? Because there's like no sense of intimacy of like real human touch here. I feel everything's so mechanic. I think on a daily basis, it's really weird here because it's like I actually feel like there's not a lack of physical touch here. Okay, but it's just put in an area that is weird to me. Like what? So I'll give you an example. Guys, when they're with their friends, are very physical. Like I said, you see a pair of Japanese guys together, they're super physical with each other. Yeah. Even adults. Yeah. They're super physical with each other. They're always like messing with each other or like, like I'll give you another example is like, high school or junior high boys, they sit in each other's laps at school. Ah, dude, that's all weird. The time. That's weird. And so as an American perspective, like, what are you doing? Dude, actually, it's funny because I was in the dentist's office and there were these 2 elementary boys hanging out and they were like sitting next to each other, putting their faces next to each other. Yeah, exactly, right? And so you'll see like manifestations of physical touch all the time here, but not in the ways that like from a Western perspective that you would expect. The place, and I think why you bring it up is with family and like in a romantic situation, husband and wife, boyfriend and girlfriend, family members like mom and dad and kids. You don't see them hug here in Japan. And for me, like, I do think that that's a little bit weird. I want to hug my daughter. Yeah. My daughters. Because like I want them to know that, like, hey, look, I care about you. Yeah. That kind of thing. Yeah. I lost my train of thought there. No, it's it's weird because it's like so your family, of course. So your most intimate relationship should be with your spouse. With your spouse and your family, like immediate family, your kids. Your kids and too. Parents, like that kind of thing. Yeah, and then you have your parents and your siblings after that. Yeah. And I'm fine with hugging my relatives or my friends. Yeah. But it's funny because I kiss my boys a lot. Like I kiss them on the head and stuff. Of course, I don't like smoosh them or whatever. Yeah. And it's funny because my dad did that to me. I never thought it was weird, but like I've done that in public before, and then people stare at me like, oh, it's the foreign father showing so much affection for his kids, you know?
For me, I think that there is an age limit to that.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, like...
Yeah, my dad doesn't kiss me on the head anymore.
Oh, he doesn't?
No.
All right,
Not
Arthur,
recently.
I'm going to take off.
Go away, man.
No, like, I had a conversation when my first daughter was born with a coworker, and you know, he's got a much older daughter. I think his daughter's like 11 now.
Yeah.
And you know, he's like, hey,
is this guy we went to the beach with together?
No.
Okay.
No. But he encountered a situation where, you know, he was picking up his daughter. I think she did like a sleepover at her friend's house, and he was picking her up the next day. And she was really excited to see him, like, oh, Dad, and like ran up, and he like grabbed her and picked her up.
Yeah.
And, you know, and then they went home, and like while they were going home, she's like, Dad, that was kind of embarrassing.
Oh, really?
Like,
Okay.
You picked me up in front of my friends. Like, don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah.
And it was just like a realization moment, like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, I guess I shouldn't do that anymore.
Yeah.
You know, and I do feel like there comes an age where I'm probably not gonna like kiss my kids, right?
Yeah.
And I think even like once they're adults, like I don't really hug my parents all. Like I mentioned, I don't really hug them that much.
So like when you go back to the States
Yeah.
and you see them at the airport, wherever you first
I'll do a hug when we first
Okay,
greet. Like it's been a while. Like, and like I said, I'm okay in that perspective.
Yeah.
But the daily frequent hug thing, oh dude, I don't subscribe to that.
Yeah. So why do you think it is that like people from the States tend to be more huggy? Because they're more, I would say they're more huggy than even people in Europe. Too, from my experience. So in Europe, you do the kissing on the sides of the cheek, but like I said, you're not actually like kissing them. You're kissing the air next to them. Yeah, but there's not really a lot of hugs, you know.
It's hard for me to really pinpoint like where exactly it is. I think it just kind of coincides with Americans really finding like our main thing is others know where we stand on stuff.
Yeah.
Right? That's why Americans tend to express their opinions about everything, right? And I think this kind of is the same manifestation of that as like a hug is a very intimate thing, and you're letting somebody else know it's like I have strong feelings for you. Like whether this is coming from a friendship thing or a romantic thing or like a paternal or maternal thing, you know, whatever. It's I have strong feelings for you, and you are somebody that I value, and I'm letting you know about that. Yeah,
I can see that. I mean, you know, it's funny because I've talked to so many Japanese people where like they say, oh yeah, my parents never hugged me, and I kind of see that in America. I feel kind of jealous. Yeah, you know, but I feel like, you know, there's another side of that where people do it superficially, but I don't know. Probably because I've been living here for so long.
Yeah.
I don't need that anymore.
And like, I think for me, I don't like seeing it unless it's in a family situation. Like I'll give you one really good example. So before I moved to Japan and became a teacher, I was a program coordinator for a homestay company, right? And one of the encounters that I had was I had a host family with a dad who was very expressive. And so he had a girl stay with him, and the guy had a daughter.
So this is in the States?
This was in the States. Yeah. So the guy had a daughter who was the same age as the girl who was homestaying with them from Japan. And one of the so this was a month-long program. We're probably 3 weeks into the program. So they got about a week left. And one of the other parents came from a different family, came up and complained to me and like, hey, look, I had a weird encounter where I saw this guy kissing and hugging his homestay student. And as from a person in my position, like that's a really big deal because
Yeah,
that's a big problem, right?
Yeah.
And so like I investigated a little bit further and I talked with like, the family, I talked to the dad, talked to the girl, and, talked with a few other people. And basically what I gathered is that like this guy shouldn't be doing that, but he's a very expressive person. He does the same thing with his kids. He hugs and kisses his daughter when he sends them off to school every day, right? And so he was doing the same thing with this kid.
Yeah.
Right? The girl's the same age as his daughter. I think she was like 10 or 11. She's junior high age. And, he was dropping her off and giving her a hug and a kiss because that's what he does with his daughter. It's not appropriate, but I think that it was an innocent intent.
Yeah.
Right? But it really made me think about like, that's not okay.
Dude, you're bringing up memories. I went to my friend's house for a sleepover one time.
Yeah.
And like the mom, it wasn't the dad, but it was the mom, and she made sure we were in bed and stuff. She kissed her son on the head, and then she kissed me on the head. And that second, I was like, "What's happening? This woman I don't know very well just kissed me on the head. What's going on?" Yeah. So it's like
that's.
I know there was nothing after that, of course, but it was just like, it was just she was trying to treat me the same way she treats her son, but that just felt kind of strange.
Yeah,
to
and
me.
I think you will experience that kind of hospitality more in America because, it comes from the same philosophy of like mikasa sukasa, right?
Yeah.
My house is your house, and it's like it's a very Christian mindset of just like you are a guest here, and because you are a guest, I'm going to treat you as if you're my family.
Yeah, right.
And some people just really take that
They
literally.
take that to the
They really take it literally, right?
Yeah.
It's very cringe for me.
Yeah.
I am not very comfortable with that at all. But I think not all cases, but I think most of the time the intent is very innocent, and it's just I'm trying to integrate you into our family.
Yeah, I think that's one reason why we both mesh really well here.
Yeah.
Because I like the distance, actually.
I would never kiss somebody else's kid.
Yeah.
That is so far beyond anything I would be comfortable with. Like, oh my God, man.
I kiss my kids all the time, but I would never kiss another person's kid.
Even hugging someone else's kid, man. It's just like, I don't know. Like, I've got a good friend, David, you've met. His daughter, Alyssa, she's 10 now.
Yeah.
And I've known Alyssa her whole life. Like, I met her when she was 3 months old, right? And so, like, I'm pretty familiar with her, but, like, I'll pat her on the head or something.
Yeah, but, like
that,
hugging is kind
Oh, no, dude, I'm good.
Yeah. So, I'm kind of curious to hear from the people watching. Do you guys have any interesting hugging stories that you want to share? That would be... like, because we're talking about different cultures, and I'm sure for those of you who've been to the States, you get something like that.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
man. Well, this is good. So we were going to talk for 5 minutes. We talked for 25 minutes.
Yeah.
So I'll see you next time.
All right, see ya.
ここまででレッスンでの英会話と実際の会話の違いをなんとなく体験してもらえたんじゃないかなと思います。じゃあどうすればこんな風に外国人と気軽に楽しく会話できるようになるのか。正直に言うとですね、従来の英語学習だけではなかなか難しいです。僕自身も4年間必死に日本語を勉強したのに、いざ日本に行ったら全然話せなくてすごく悔しい思いをしました。そこから今までの勉強法を一度やめて、全く違うところにフォーカスするようにしたら、驚くぐらい話せるようになって、人生が大きく変わりました。劇的に変わりました。英語何年も勉強してるのにまだ話せない。でも本当は外国人と普通に会話を楽しめるようになりたい。そんな方に向けて僕とこれまで900人以上の僕の生徒さんが実際に気軽に話せるようになった方法を無料動画講座でいつでも学べるようにしています。もし今の英語学習で満足しているなら問題ないです。ぜひこちらの動画をご覧ください。でも今の自分を変えたいとか英語をちゃんと使えるようになりたいと思っているなら無料動画講座をメールでお届けするのでこちらをタップするか概要欄にあるリンクをタップするかぜひご登録ください。Thanks so much for listening and I'll see you next time. これからも一緒に世界とつながりましょう。